Are we doing what's next first, or are we doing this?
I don't care. Oh.
Um,
How's the mic sound?
it's fine. Do you have anything on what's next? Because you're in the driver's seat for that one.
Dude, I got it. I'll talk about it. You wing it, dude.
You got the intro for what's next? Because we hadn't done one in a minute.
Oh, holy cow! I'm writing. All right, I got it.
Okay.
It's just it's that first sentence that always throws me.
You up. What are we?
It is Frank Miller's Daredevil run, which is 158 through 191 of the original series, 1963 series.
What were the numbers again? I'm sorry.
158 through 191.
Okay. All right, cool. Okay. You ready?
No.
Okay. What's this Avengers story you're talking about?
I don't know.
Okay.
There was some Avengers story that I may have even put it on the website. Okay, I am, because I found these when I hit browse, the Daredevil books were still pulled up. Okay, yeah. So all the Daredevil books were right there. All right, good deal. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay.
Ready whenever you are.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
Hello again. This is the What's Next podcast. I am Pat.
And I am Sean.
And we're here to expound your knowledge of what to read in the Marvel Unlimited app, where we just talk about everything there is to discover here in the app that you may not know about. Like, did you know that Ben Affleck was Daredevil before he was Batman?
Wait, who was Daredevil?
Ben Affleck.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. And Jennifer Garner was Elektra before. Yeah. And dude, everyone hated that Elektra movie, and I didn't think it was too bad.
I don't think I ever saw it.
You never saw it? I got it on DVD, man. You'll have to see it next time you're here at the house. I'm converting everything to Blu-rays. By the way, we're the guys who do the 6 Months Behind podcast. And we're here to help you understand everything you need to know. This week, we're going to talk about Frank Miller's run on Daredevil, and which is why we brought up Ben Affleck and Daredevil. If you want to email us, the email is
6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com.
The website is www.6monthsbehind.com, where you can find notes on everything we're going to discuss today. And yeah, since we've already gotten into it, we'll just get into it. We apologize for not having done an episode of this recently. We've had, if you listen to our 6 Months Behind podcast, we've had a few personal issues. So we've kind of,
we've also had a mountain of comic books to read every week. So our ability to read tangential things has really flown out the window.
Dude. Yeah, but we have a pace, and we've lost our pace. We've lost our momentum.
Yeah, we're getting back into things.
Yeah. So anyway, Frank Miller's run on Daredevil. I learned some things when I was researching this. Are you familiar with these comics?
I'm familiar with Frank Miller's run on Daredevil, as it's considered one of the legendary Daredevil runs, but I don't think I've ever read it. Or if I have, I'm it's one of those where I've read a issue or two, but nothing major.
It starts at issue 158. His run does, which is where he started doing the art. Then at issue 168, he started writing it and actually took creative control of the book. And then it runs through 191. And everything that you see in the first Daredevil movie, which again, I didn't think was that bad. Okay. I'm a fan of Jon Favreau, of Ben Affleck, of Jennifer Garner, of all those people. And I thought it was a good movie.
Wait, did Jon Favreau do that movie?
Yeah, he was Feige Nelson.
Huh?
He was Feige Nelson.
Really? That's funny because he went on to do the Iron Man movies.
Yeah, he was Feige Nelson in that movie.
Oh.
Yeah, the scene where Jennifer Garner walks in the little cafe is I enjoyed the movie, man. The only thing that I think is overdone is I don't like the actor that played Bullseye, and he's a fairly famous actor whose career's
Colin Firth,
Colin Farrell.
I don't know. I haven't seen that movie since it was in theaters, and that's been 15 years ago. So
anyway,
yeah,
I enjoyed it. So the point is, that movie, the Elektra movie, everything, dude, almost everything from the two Defenders, the Defender story, and the two Daredevil series on Netflix are all from this Frank Miller run. Every bit of it is from this Frank Miller run. I mean, from Stick to The Hand to the Kingpin being a Daredevil nemesis to Elektra. It's all Frank Miller, man. Every bit of it's Frank Miller.
Okay, yeah. So that's what I'd always thought is that Frank Miller's run on Daredevil was the one that kind of it made Daredevil into what we know him to be today.
Yes, Daredevil was very close to being canceled. It was actually being published bi-monthly, every other month, when Frank Miller took over. And within 3 months of his taking over, doing 3 issues of his taking over, it was the hottest comic book around, man. It was up there with the X-Men. It was Daredevil and the X-Men were the 2 hottest comics out there. Yeah, it was, dude. It was a classic run. And what happened is Frank Miller, I didn't realize this. If you go and you know how to do this in the browse tab, you look under creator. Mm-hmm. So I looked under Frank Miller's name because I wasn't really sure where he started at. What issue he started at. So I kind of looked under creator, and I didn't realize he did some other stuff. He did some Spectacular Spider-Man stuff. He did a Marvel team up. Dude, he drew like 2 or 3 issues of Avengers. George Perez did some Avengers together.
The Spider-Man stuff I was aware of. I wasn't aware of the other stuff.
And it's not like, they're long runs. I mean, it's like an issue here, an issue there. They were just looking for an artist to fill in. And he finally landed on Daredevil. And that's where, and that's obviously where his career took off. And when he first started, with issue 158, Roger McKenzie was writing it. And they were kind of in this middle of this, I don't want to say it's a bad Bullseye arc, but it wasn't great. It was Bullseye's got brain cancer, and it was okay. It wasn't. There have been better Bullseye arcs.
Yeah, like the one we've been reading currently.
Yes. So it's in the whole, everything's the tumor is the brain tumor is responsible for him being a murderous person. So then he gets free of it. He takes a walk on all his crimes. So anyway, yeah, well, but dude, the last issue, in issue 191, Matt Murdock has gone completely around the bend, and he's sitting there playing Russian roulette with a comatose Bullseye who's had his spine broken because, of course, Matt's not going to kill him. Daredevil's not going to kill him, but it did stop him from throwing him like a 3-story building and breaking his spine and breaking his neck and, crippling him for life. So he's sitting there talking to a Bullseye who can't talk back. You can just look at him and blink and playing Russian roulette with a 38. I was reading Wikipedia. Frank Miller considers it one of the greatest books he's ever written. And that's issue 191. Anyway, so Roger McKenzie was writing it. Roger McKenzie was not a great writer. And then and as I said, the sales were in the dumper, even with Frank Miller doing the art. And I mean, dude, they had him fighting the Hulk for 2 issues. Seriously, Daredevil and Hulk. Really?
What?
Anyway,
What?
Yeah, dude, that was sort of Roger McKenzie's. Anyway, so finally, Denny O'Neil was the editor at the time, and he realized that Frank Miller had written a couple of small things at that point, and he saw where the talent that Frank Miller had. Daredevil was about to be canceled anyway, so he was like, "Yeah, what do I have to lose?" So he just let him go on Daredevil. And dude, it took off. I mean, with his first issue, he created Elektra. He immediately made the Kingpin a villain, an arch nemesis, basically, which Daredevil had kind of had up to that point. But it was like the Gladiator, man. It's isn't it the Gladiator, the dude with the saws on his wrist? He was like fighting the Stilt Man, the Gladiator, the Purple Man, people like that. So he immediately creates just instantaneously. Frank Miller creates this world with Elektra, the Hand, the Ninja. It's got Stick in it. It's the Kingpin's fighting for power. Dude, it's great, man. It is fantastic, and the whole thing runs through issue 191 is the last issue of Frank Miller's run, and through it all, you've got the death and resurrection of Elektra. You've got the issue where she is resurrected, which is pretty cool, which is one of my favorites, which is 190, which is kind of like it's the what am I looking for here? It's the ultimate fight scene where Daredevil and Black Widow and Stick are fighting a ninja while Elektra is redeeming herself spiritually. So if you don't understand that, you got to go read it, because you just got to read that to understand it. Because if you never read it, it's a really cool book. Dude.
Yeah. Now, Frank Miller's the one who killed Elektra, and you've told me before he got like death threats and had to bring in the FBI for protection when this happened, right?
You should read about this on a Wikipedia sometime, or just there are articles online about it, because she became so popular. And let's see, issue 168 came out in 81. Okay. And she was just this incredibly popular character. The sales for Daredevil took off. Well, a year and a half later, in April of 82, he kills her. And it wasn't, right. One of these comic book deaths. It was, it was
the dead for a
scene. While. Yeah, it was the infamous scene. Well, we'll get to that. But it was the scene where Bullseye takes her sword or Sai, I should say, and harpoons her with it. And she's dead, man. Done. He got death threats. He literally had to get FBI protection for a few weeks. And this was before Twitter. This was before Facebook, all that sort of thing. Literally people mailing him stuff, man. I mean, the hate mail was so bad. People showing up at the Marvel offices it was so bad. They had to call the FBI to protect him. It was insane, man.
And I mean, this is back in the 80s when you had to do the legwork to harass Frank Miller like this.
Yeah, you really did. But the flip side of it is, if you knew where the Marvel offices were, you could just kind of walk in and, if you get past the secretary, you can walk in and see Frank Miller.
Right, yeah. I mean, and that's the thing is, security was probably pretty lax. And if you could get past the people in the lobby, you could walk up in his office and punch him in the nose or whatever.
There are stories of people just, making their way around, walking into the bullpen and Jack Kirby was never in the bullpen, and Frank Miller wasn't there much. I think he freelanced most of his stuff from home, but Stan Lee worked there a lot during his time, and a lot of those artists did work there a lot. And if you could work your way past the front desk, and there was a girl that was, there was a lady that was secretary there for like 30 years, man. Her name was Flo something. Anyway, if you get past her, which was hard to do, you were in. So anyway, but yes, he killed her. But what he did is he resurrected her there in issue 190 with the caveat with Marvel that he be the only person allowed to write her. Okay.
Okay.
And the editors at the time and the editors in chief said, fine, you want to write her, you can write her. And he did, let me think. He did because at the end of 190, I just spoiled it for you, but at the end of 190, he resurrects her, but you got to see it because you're not sure if it's a spiritual resurrection or if it's a physical resurrection. So you got to kind of see it. You got to read 190. It's a really cool issue. But he resurrects her, and the agreement was he would be the only person to write her. And he did Wolverine. He did that 4-issue Wolverine series with he and Chris Claremont, and then he did. He went and did that infamous Batman series that was so great. Was it Batman Year One?
No, it was Dark Knight.
Was it Dark Knight?
Yeah.
Okay. Then he actually came back and did a second run on Daredevil, which we'll probably discuss another time. He did a second run on Daredevil, which lasted 12 or 18 issues. But along the way, he never resurrected Daredevil. And finally, after, I don't even know, man, maybe 10 years, Marvel said, look, if you're not going to resurrect Elektra, we are. If you're never going to get around to this, we're going to. And I think at that point, he may have even been doing creator-owned stuff, and he may have been working for DC exclusively or something, but they finally just reached a point they were like, look, we know we had an agreement, but those people don't work here anymore, and we're going to resurrect her. So, she's coming back. Good luck to you. And they actually wrote I'm trying to think, somebody wrote a good little miniseries that it was wrapped up in, and I don't think it had Frank Miller's approval. Matter of fact, I'm pretty sure it didn't. So
yeah, and wasn't that the whole reason? Like he stopped working for Marvel altogether after that.
it may be. It may be. I'd have to go back to his Wikipedia page and to his bio to read, but
because he semi-famously is known for having gotten in a big tiff with Marvel and does not work for them. I mean, he hasn't worked for them in 20 years.
Yeah, I don't know why, but somewhere there's lawsuits, and 93.
Yeah,
I don't know. I don't know. I didn't bother prepping that far ahead.
I wouldn't be surprised if that was the reason that he just had some sort of creative difference and just said, I'm not working with Marvel anymore.
Yeah, it wouldn't surprise me. I'm not sure why he doesn't, but as recently as 93, he did. As recently as 93, it shows how old I am.
I was going to say that's been 20 some odd years ago.
24 years. Yes.
Yeah, almost 25 years ago. Yeah, people born in 1997 are 20 years old, just so you know.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, anyway. So there you go. That's Daredevil. This is great. If you're looking for something to read, I wouldn't even start with the stuff that he drew unless you just want to look at some of his art, because you can see his art evolve along the way. Particularly, you kind of see it in issue 158. You're like, yeah, that's Miller. And then in issue 168, where he takes over creative control and he's writing and drawing and he's doing Elektra and things that he wants to do, dude, you can just see his art blossoming. You can see him blossoming as a creator. He was in his early 20s at the time. So anyway, yeah, that's Daredevil, and that's Frank Miller's run on Daredevil.
So if you go to your browse tab, that is, it's under Daredevil. You go to the 1968 to 1994, and it's issue 158.
No, that's 1963. No, that's the 1963 series, or 1964. I'm sorry, and it's issue 158.
158 through what? 191.
191.
Okay, cool. Well, yeah, go read that. That's your highlight for the week. If you want to email us and tell us what you thought of it, you can hit us up at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. Also visit our website where we'll have notes on this.
www.6monthsbehind.com.
And please check out our other show, 6 Months Behind, where we discuss all of the new weekly books every week in Marvel Unlimited.
Or we'll be ranting and raving about some of them this week because there's not very many that are very good. No.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time.
Peace.
Okay. Check your speeds. You're bad. We that whole episode may be unusable because the first half I caught every fifth word you said. That's why I wasn't talking much because I couldn't understand you. You it improved somewhere around the time we started talking about Electra, but you're in and out real bad. It'll be good for a minute or two, then it's bad.
Well, that's my problem. Is it comes and goes at times.
Yeah, that.
As everyone starts getting home.
Yeah. Do you want to try doing this from your office sometime?
Dude, that's because I'm getting 33 down. I'm still only getting one up.
That's the problem. You're stuttering real bad right now. Your upload speed is
1.27 up. That's all I'm getting, man.
Yeah,
that's it. Yeah, okay. It is what it is, man.
Yeah,
we'll
go ahead.
Nah, we can try it if we want to. We not try it. Whatever you want to do.
No, let's press on, but we gotta come up with a solution for this.
We'll try it from the office next Monday night.
Okay, that works for me. Because you'd mentioned the idea before, and we'll see how it does, and if that accommodates.
I tell you what.
Hmm? What?
How long would it take this Renee's computer to find a driver for my microphone?
Theoretically, you should just be able to plug it in and it would look for one. Do you want to try it on her computer?
I was going to say, you want to try it from her PC?
You can try. How old is that laptop you're working off of?
Oh, dude, it's 5 or 6 years old. Maybe not. Maybe 3 or 4 years.
Okay, that may be part of your problem too. Is you've got an older wireless card, and it's probably not pulling enough. It's probably not fully utilizing your router.
Yeah, that's. Let me go talk to her a minute.
Okay.
Well, let me ask you. Do you want to press on, or do you want me to go talk to her and move over there? Because she was talking about coming in and doing some work on the computer while I was doing this.
That's up to you. You make that call. It's your. I'm down for whatever. So you make the call.
How's it sounding now?
Now it sounds fine, but in a minute it'll probably be all. I mean, it's just up and down.
All right, let's press on, and then next week I may try it from her computer.
Okay, we'll try that.
Okay, because I intentionally I made sure that thing had the horsepower to do everything she needed to do, and it made even do this better.
It's certainly worth a try.
All right, give me about 1 minute. Let me go use the restroom.
Okay.
All right, I'll be right back. Oh, okay. Okie dokie.
Okay.
Your barking dog's back too.
A ambulance went by about 45 minutes ago. So.
There you go.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. You ready? Got the intro?
Yeah.
What's this Avengers story?
I don't know. Hang on. Let me see if I put it on the website.
I didn't see anything.
Is it not there?
If it was, I didn't recognize it. Dude, I have just been a ball of gas since yesterday.
No, I didn't put it on there. I put that Marvel Legacy story in there. Oh, it only goes down so far. Huh.
Mm-hmm.
That's interesting. I didn't know that. No, I put that Marvel Legacy story up there, and I didn't put that up there. I did figure out how to put 4 covers of them at the same time, though. And they become thumbnails, and you scroll from cover to cover. Oh, that looks good. I do good work.
Do you not look at the website after you've done something with it?
Not on my phone.
What?
I mean, I very seldom look at it on my phone. I'm sorry. I'm really far from the microphone.
No, your signal's breaking up terribly, but
not on the phone, no. Not in the phone, no. I don't.
Okay.
So I sometimes forget how good it looks on the phone. Dude, I'm most usually in that dashboard page and just go out to look at it and, okay, that's what it looks like. Yeah, there you go. Okay. All right, back. I thought I deleted that link. Yeah, that's not the end of the world.
Oh, okay. I just found a card on my desk for a free chicken sandwich from Chick-fil-A.
Oh, there you go. See?
I didn't even realize that was there.
Found food.
There was a little corner white something sticking out from underneath the keyboard. And what's this? Oh, a card for a free sandwich.
There you go.
Okay, you ready?
I'm ready.
All right. 3, 2, 1.
What is up? This is the 6 Months Behind podcast. I am Pat.
And I am Sean.
And this week, we're Kevin Sumlin and Brian Kelly in a race to see who can get fired first from their head coaching position. Because, just because. There you go. How you doing, man?
Yeah, they're both going to get fired. And so will Gus Malzahn, probably.
I left Gus Malzahn off that list because he has hope. But, it's not much hope, but it's hope.
Yeah, we'll see how it goes. We'll see how the season goes.
We'll see.
If nobody knows what we're talking about, that's because you don't watch college football.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, how you doing this week?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
I can't complain.
No.
Can't complain. If you want to talk to us about college football, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6 monthsbehind@gmail.com. Please also visit the website
www.6monthsbehind.com.
And go check out our other show, What's Next, where we talk to you about all the different things that you can read in Marvel Unlimited that maybe you didn't know about. All the hidden gems and little secret things that don't always get highlighted.
Yeah, because, we have so many to read here. And, there you go.
Yeah, absolutely. And
I saw a book that we left off the list.
Oh, what did we leave off the list?
Silver Surfer number 9.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, we do discuss spoilers on this show, just so you know. So if you haven't read all the books, just understand that you may be spoiled.
Yeah, I'm actually in a pretty good mood. I'm not wound up, so there's hope that I might not spoil something, but you never know.
Right. Every now and again, Pat will go on a rant and spoil the next 6 months of books. So You know,
It's entirely possible.
Yes. Especially with Secret Empire, since you've read all of it.
Yes.
Right.
Yes, and I'm looking for someone to have an intelligent conversation with about it.
Right. See, Pat's the one who buys books at the store and reads them, you know, as they come out on the newsstands, whereas I don't, and typically don't know things unless I happen to read them on the internet. So if you get upset about a spoiler for a certain thing, get mad at Pat, not me. Anyway, so you have this Avengers story to talk about.
You know, I don't remember what it was. It was something like the 15 worst Avengers stories of the last decade or something. I don't know. You sent it to me. Or maybe I saw it.
Did I? Okay. I don't remember either. It's been so long.
Here you go. It was a poorly written list by someone designed to get clicks that made me mad. How's that?
Yeah, I mean, that's mostly what these articles are now that you get from CBR and Comic Book Now, and Bleeding Cool is not as bad about it, but you know how I feel about Bleeding Cool anyway. Yeah, it's clickbait. They're clickbait articles meant for you to click on them so that they can sell advertising dollars.
Yeah.
Just what it is.
And we were discussing when coming home that we may or may not talk about next week, but yeah, and I forget what it was. It was 15 worst Avengers crossovers or crossover events, and what irritated me so much was it said in the last 10 years, and then it had stories from the 80s or 90s in it, 80s and 90s in it.
Right. And you're like, okay, did this person not know what year it is? I mean,
and I'm like, dude, it's one thing to just, not research the story. Okay. And not know that Professor X was wanting to sleep around with Jean Grey. Okay. That's one thing. All right. But not even just looking at the decade the book was published in. Okay. If you're going to say the last 10 years, don't give me Secret Wars from 1983. Don't, dude.
Right. I mean, that book's older than I am.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Oh, I meant to mention, we are coming at you a little late this week. Pat and I have both had some personal things come up recently. That was also our excuse last week. We're sorry. We should be back on our normal schedule moving forward, barring some sort of horrible accident or tragedy.
Yes.
Yeah. So,
which anyway, we've had. So there you
go. Yeah. So, yeah. As for your thing about those articles, they irritate the crap out of me too, but that I just make a point not to click on them so that they don't sell the ad revenue, and maybe they'll just stop publishing them.
Well, I actually enjoy reading some of them, and every now and then I find one that's good for the website or good for us to talk about. So,
yeah, occasionally you get a good one, but I just, man, they're always so poorly. I mean, 20 minutes and some Googling is all we're asking. These things are literally just pulled out of the air.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And by the way, you're going to get spoilers. I just remembered because I'm going to give you one in IVX number 6. So there you go.
Okay. Well, all right then. Well, let's go ahead and get into it with Captain America, Steve Rogers, number 13 in our Secret Empire section here. We tend to do events first and then move on to just the standalone books. So right now we're dealing with Secret Empire, Inhumans versus X-Men, and Monsters Unleashed. So in number 13, we start in 1944 with Steve, Captain America, having to deal with an issue where he's got to maintain this facade of being the American hero, but also trying to further his agenda as a Hydra agent, where he's going to have to pick a side with his, what are these, the invaders?
Yes.
Yeah. So the invaders are off to foil one of Baron Zemo's plots, and he needs this to go off without a hitch, but at the same time, he can't just turn around and start fighting his invader friends. So he has the dilemma. Meanwhile, in the present day, Baron Zemo shows up at this nice guy's house in New Jersey and starts talking to him and ties him up to a chair and starts asking him about how he feels about his family. And then back in 1944, we have what's basically Steve Rogers remembering and well, lost the word. Blovicating about his bromance with Baron Zemo.
That's a good word for it.
Yeah. Essentially what happened is he had to kill Baron Zemo's dad, and it interrupted their bromance for a number of years, and he's very sorry about it. And then they make out or something.
Yeah.
And then the Red Skull and his daughter are stealing nuclear bombs from Sokovia for some reason.
Because they can.
You also have this sequence where Baron Zemo's talking to this dude in this house that he's tied up. You get a montage of him recruiting villains for something. And apparently this guy that he's been talking to isn't who he seems to be. And I don't care. This book sucks.
Dude.
I don't care about Baron Zemo. I don't understand what's happening. This book is stupid. I don't care that Steve Rogers and Baron Zemo want to kiss each other. I don't care about this dude there are no answers here. Baron Zemo shows up at this guy's house, ties him up, starts talking to him. Apparently it's not this guy's house. Then he takes him to some place where he's recruited all these villains. For what reason? We don't know. Who is this guy? Who cares? It's got something to do with Kobik. I don't know.
Let me ask you something. Let me ask you something. If Brian Michael Bendis were writing this,
I'd say he lost his talent.
Or Jonathan Hickman were writing this, and you knew it was going somewhere, wouldn't you stay with it?
I mean, I'm going to stay with it because I know it's going somewhere, but this particular issue is bad. I don't care about Baron Zemo.
Let's discuss for a moment. And I'm going to tell you the truth. As far as I'm concerned, there's 3 real good books this week, and the rest of them we can sum up in about 3 minutes.
Yeah.
When you see Captain America in 1944, okay, by the way, Amazon's having one of their big sales, and you can buy the whole prelude to Secret Empire for like $2.80 or something. And it's the 2 issues of Captain America where he became old, the Pleasant Hill books, and the first couple of issues of this series. That's the prelude to Secret Empire. So when Kobik remade Captain America, and she de-aged him, and she rewrote his history, okay, what happened to him? And now we're seeing all these flashbacks to the 20s and 30s and 40s, right?
Right.
We're not seeing. Help me out here, because we've talked about this. We're seeing what happened. Okay, this isn't an alternate reality or something. This is what happened in Steve Rogers' life, because this is what Kobik changed it to be.
Right. So did she actually change history?
Essentially,
that's the implication that I get. Yeah, I mean, she changed history.
Yes. Yes, she changed and rewrote everything from the birth of Steve Rogers on. From that moment when you see Alyssa walk into his mother's life, forward, history has changed. So every time you see one of these flashbacks, you think, that's Steve Rogers Zemo doing something else. No, that's all of the past being changed. And when you consider the implications of that through the 40s, 50s, 60s, there's a huge implication here that I realize you didn't like this issue, and we've gotten a lot of these flashbacks in this Captain America series. However, let's not gloss over the fact that there's something going on here.
Yeah, I mean, it has a purpose. I understand. I'm just telling you, I don't care.
Okay. I just told you why you should, and you don't, and that I'm with you. But it's.
I have a personal thing against Baron Zemo. I do not like Baron Zemo as a character.
We gotta get Baron
He's
Zemo.
stupid. He wears a sock on his head, and he's the villain. He's every time he accomplishes something, the same thing trips him up. He starts just dialoguing and monologuing about how great his plan is, giving the heroes time to thwart his plan every single time.
Well, how about if he doesn't this time? Does that make you feel any better?
Maybe he will have learned a lesson.
Well, maybe when Kobik recreated Steve, she made him better also.
Yeah, she did something to Baron Zemo as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, we'll go on to a much better book that is Inhumans versus X-Men #6.
I was going to say, did you hate this one also, or do you like it?
No, I enjoyed it.
Okay, good. So basically everything since Secret Wars, and yes, I meant to say Secret Wars that time, has been building up to this issue. The death of X, all 5 issues, everything else has been building up to what we have here, which is the giant fight between the X-Men and the Inhumans. It's the payoff battle we've been wanting. I think one of the cute things is this gleeful picture of Emma Frost where she says, "This is perfect." I mean, she's just standing there extremely happy because all the X-Men are there, the Inhumans are there. She plans on killing all the Inhumans. Life's perfect for her. That's
right. I mean, the goal for the X-Men has always been survival. Emma Frost's goal is the genocide of all the Inhumans.
Yes, every single one of them. Period.
Yes,
and I'm not going to give you a blow by blow on this entire fight because it is well worth reading. This book is 32 pages. But Rogue at some point asked Emma, "Is this about rescuing Forge or is it about killing Inhumans?" And Emma's response is, "Silly girl, it's always been both." And the battle escalates until they're both fighting. Finally, ISO shows up with the recreated smaller Terrigen Eater that Forge and Luna, Moon Girl, made. I was trying to think of her full name. What's her full name? Lunella
Lafayette.
Lunella Lafayette made.
Yeah, and just call her Moon Girl.
Moon Girl, there you go. So ISO shows up with the smaller Terrigen Eater, and she talks to Medusa about it. Now, first off, let's stop here a minute. Medusa says, "Well, I didn't know that's why we were fighting the X-Men because the Terrigen Mist had escalated to the point that it was going to kill all of the mutants." Mm-hmm. How did she not know this?
She did know it, and the writer, whoever wrote this, just glossed over it because that's the whole thing in the beginning with her and Beast.
She knew, but she didn't know it escalated to the point they were going to be extinct in a matter of days.
Right, but the issue had always been the Terrigen is killing the mutants, and we have to do something about it. So why all of a sudden, when it escalates to this level, is she okay with destroying the Terrigen? I think that's weak writing.
I did too. I did. I just thought, this is.
And I like Charles Soule. I like him a lot, and he's a good writer. Not here.
Yeah, I thought right here, and this whole story is really good. The whole thing has been good. I just thought right here in this couple of pages with this exchange, you're like, okay, with everything that's happened, she's just going to activate the Terrigen Mist or the Terrigen Eater, destroy the Terrigen Mist, and no more Inhumans.
Right. She's just going to destroy the one thing that is most sacred to their entire race of people that she's sworn to protect and uphold because it's killing the mutants, which she already knew, but because it could kill them within the next, literally within hours at this point. Okay, all of a sudden now she's going to do it. That's weak writing.
Yeah, and I'm with you. We both love this book. It's just, this is kind of weak.
It was a bad resolution. Now I like everything that comes out of it. I like how.
Yeah, because it keeps going. Because we're not done. Because at that point, everyone stops fighting, and Emma's like, by the way, what do we call her these days? The White Queen? Emma Frost? She's just Emma Frost, right?
Yeah.
I was trying to think, is there a code name I'm missing? And I'm just like, no, she's just Emma Frost.
I mean, she hasn't been the White Queen in a long time, although you might by the end of this book, that might not be the case anymore.
So anyway, everyone stops fighting, and she's like, "Why? Why aren't we killing Inhumans anymore?" And they're like, "Because the threat's over. It's time to make peace." And at that point, she launches a very large Sentinel attack against the Inhumans and against the X-Men, and everyone who was just fighting against each other starts fighting together. Medusa and help me out, the King, Black Bolt, fly up to save the day, and which they do. And it's the one thing I thought was cool here is finally Emma Frost and Medusa wind up fighting, and she's actually cutting her diamond form to pieces with her hair, which I thought was pretty impressive. Because over the years, I've seen her do some impressive things with the hair, but I've never seen her cut a diamond with it. And that's what she was doing to Emma Frost when Havoc comes in and saves her. And that's what happens. Havoc comes in and basically saves Emma and says, "Hey, me and my brother and you are square. So
this is over. We're done.
Yeah, don't expect this again."
Yeah.
And at that point, you get a recap. The X-Men are back with Beast. You get Emma Frost. And this is the spoiler I warned you about. So you skip forward about 60 seconds if you don't want to hear it. I thought Emma Frost would go away for a long time. Apparently, she plays a pretty big part in Secret Empire. Well, I know she does play a pretty big part in Secret Empire. And, dude, she's got to be appearing in 2 or 3 months for the role that she plays in Secret Empire. And I really thought, after this, they would put her on the shelf for a year or two.
Right. She'd just go away and then come back with some scheme.
Dude, she's rolling right on in Secret Empire, which I was surprised with.
Well, she's always been ambitious.
Yeah, because you've got the two. Next week or the week after, we're going to get the relaunch, which is X-Men Prime. Is that right?
It was Gold and Blue, wasn't it?
Well, yeah, but there's a book that they relaunch it with, and which I want to say it's called X-Men Prime. Then it goes into Gold and Blue. You're correct. Then you get a Gold Blue and a Gold team and a Blue team, or 2 separate series. So, and I didn't see her in the early issues of either of those, so I thought, well, they put her on the shelf, but apparently not.
Yeah, they're doing other stuff with her, which I think would be good. Take her out of the X-Men realm and really make her a villain for other people. That's an interesting use of the character.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Well, and then we get to New Attilan, where Medusa abdicates her throne and leaves Iso in charge of New Attilan, who is going to hold elections, and then she goes to live happily ever after with Black Bolt in the quiet room.
Yeah.
If they could just stay there and never bother us again, it'd be nice, but they're not going to.
No.
They have new issues coming out in a week or two also.
Yeah. New things for the Inhumans. That's interesting. And new things for the X-Men.
And by the way, there's still an issue left in this title. In this crossover, which is the one where this whole thing started several years ago when Black Bolt and Maximus got together and blew up the city and launched the Terrigen Mist. Mm-hmm. Well, in that book, that Uncanny Inhuman book that we hate so much, Maximus the Mad is running around trying to put together a method to put the mist back together again. In their crystal form. Not the you hate the book so much you haven't read it. I've just glossed over it, but I've noticed if you read, and I'm not even sure it's on here. I've already closed it. There's one more book to come out in this IVX series, and it's the last one with Maximus the Mad, where he's trying to find a way to recreate these crystals.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know what you do with the Inhumans now that, they're essentially where the mutants were back in, years ago, where you can't make any, there's just them left. They're an endangered species now.
I think they're going to, I don't know. I don't know what's going to happen in that book. I don't. I'm not giving away a tease. I don't know. I wonder if he's going to recreate the crystals.
Huh. That'd be interesting.
Because supposedly that's what he and Triton and a couple other people are running around doing are finding the chemicals necessary to make the crystals.
Okay, maybe I need to go back and look at that because that seems more interesting than anything else that book's been doing.
Well, it's still a bad read, but
is
that's
it?
the point of it. Yeah.
Oh, well, that sucks.
But that's the point of it.
Oh, okay. Well, all right then.
Yeah.
Anyway, this Inhumans versus X-Men thing has been some of the best X-Men that we've had in a while.
A long while.
Yeah. And hopefully Blue and Gold will be good.
I've read some of Gold, and I'm almost positive it's X-Men Prime. I've read X-Men Prime, and they're both good.
Okay, cool.
They took some characters out, put some characters in. I like what they did with it.
Yeah, I'm ready for the X-Men to be good again.
Took the friggin' mansion out of limbo.
Yeah, just get back to being the X-Men, dude.
Yeah.
Yeah. The only Monsters Unleashed title we had this week was Guardians of the Galaxy 1.1. Now, you and I have crapped all over these 0.1 books, but this one is not awful.
Preach it.
I actually kind of enjoyed this book.
Yes. This is the best Guardians of the Galaxy book I have read since Civil War.
And yeah, because all the other Guardian books are crappy.
Yes.
It all has to do with them being stranded on Earth, and that's not, I don't care.
And I had to go back and look because all those other books have been written by Brian Michael Bendis, and this wasn't.
Yeah, this is written by Chad Bowers and Chris Sims. I don't even know who they are, but yeah, anyway. So the reason I enjoyed this book so much is you actually get a little bit of Groot's origin story. Apparently, when he was a young Groot, his entire planet was destroyed by some giant fire monster that attacked it. Fast forward to present day, that same monster happens to show up in San Diego, where they're fighting all these other monsters. And so Groot, of course, is, he sees this and has this horrible flashback and decides to start fighting the monster, gets in over his head. Rocket has to save him. And by the way, the writing in Rocket in this is really good. Rocket seems to be the only one with any priorities whatsoever. Rocket understands the situation and nobody else does, which is what I like about Rocket.
Actually dives in the monster's belly after Groot.
Yeah, to save Groot. And, there's this whole scene where Groot's, disheartened and he's probably going to die. And so he's going to give up, and Rocket has to talk him out of it because it will kill Rocket too. And then they blow up the monster. And yeah, man, this whole thing was really good. And then at the end, the Guardians get called in to go help with some more monster fighting. But there's also some division in the team between Peter Quill and Gamora, who is upset with Peter over the whole Thanos thing. But yeah, man, one of the better Guardians books that we've read in a while.
Yeah, absolutely. The best Guardians book I've read. I forget what the series called. Is it Grounded? Grounded on Earth?
Yeah, Grounded is what they're calling it.
Since that series began, this is the best Guardians book we've had. So
yeah, absolutely. Because
it's got to be a Monsters 1.1 written besides somebody besides Brian Michael Bendis.
Yeah, man. If you take the Guardians of the Galaxy, who are meant to be cosmic characters, and put them on Earth and separate them and just basically make them solo books, it doesn't work.
No.
Because that's not how they were designed to work.
No.
And yeah, Peter Quill running around being a regular Earth human and getting in trouble and getting in fights in bars is funny, but it's not what I want to see out of a Guardians of the Galaxy book. No, what I want to see out of a Guardians of the Galaxy book is what this 1.1 did. And, holy cow, if you can make a Monsters Unleashed tie-in better than the main titles, hats off.
Which is, seriously, this is the only 1.1 book that has been worth a flip.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. That brings us to our main. There are no Avengers books this week, so that brings us to the 616 universe. Oh no, we missed. Oh, dude,
You skipped like 3 books.
I missed Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Because for the love of Pete, I missed Spider-Man and Deadpool number 15. Holy cow! And I wouldn't want to miss that because it's the continuation of Till Death Do Us Part. Shakira and her monsters are still trying to take over Manhattan. She somehow convinces Spider-Man that she's actually a good guy in all this. I don't understand how. Blade shows up, which leads to Deadpool making a bunch of bad Wesley Snipes jokes. Dude, I just wish they'd move on and get back to the Itsy Bitsy storyline and get back to the Secret Empire storyline of Deadpool because it's just bad, man.
Yeah, they tease you with those other good storylines, and they're like, "Oh, we're going to derail this whole thing and tell you a story you don't care about."
Yeah, if this were on my pull list, I'd just be mad that I kept going back and forth between Itsy Bitsy and this.
Don't worry, next issue you'll probably get one of those Deadpool 2099 stories that you hate so much.
No, it's what it actually is both Deadpool books and both Spider-Man Deadpool books are doing it's a 4-issue series. So parts 1 and 3 are in Deadpool, parts 2 and 4 are in Spider-Man Deadpool. So this is a 2-issue arc. It'll be 15 and 16 in Spider-Man Deadpool. Then I think Secret Empire picks back up in 17 or 18.
Okay. So just hold out a couple issues and you'll get back to it.
Yeah.
In the meantime, you've just got to suffer.
Yeah. There you go.
So Old Man Logan number 19. This was actually a really good book, but there's a caveat there. So at this maximum security prison, there's these 2 guards who are about to get murdered by Wolverine because Wolverine's busting in here to basically he's going to let this villain out who he needs help from. And Miles Morales shows up basically to stop him, but Wolverine, handles him pretty quickly. So basically what he wants is he initially goes to Illyana Rasputin and says, "Hey, I need you to send me back in time to another timeline, to the Wastelands, so that I can rescue this Hulk baby." Despite the fact that he knows that this is no longer his timeline and that such timeline may not even exist anymore. And it's not his future, it's his past, and it's a future that may not come to pass anymore. He feels the need to go and save a theoretical Hulk baby. So Illyana Rasputin tells him, "Heck no, dude. When the X-Men start messing around with both time and
alternate
realities, things just get real bad." So cut to a montage of him asking basically all of his friends, Beast, Cable, Wiccan, even Doctor Doom and Scarlet Witch and Black Panther and Doctor Strange, who all tell him the same thing. This is a terrible idea. You know you shouldn't do it. Don't do it. So, in order to get Spider-Man off his back, he opens up a bunch of cells and releases a bunch of villains who beat the crap out of Spider-Man, while he goes and tries to recruit Osmodeus to his cause. I forget who Osmodeus is, but apparently he's the one guy.
He's one of Apocalypse's horsemen.
Okay, I mean, I knew the name, I just couldn't remember exactly who he was.
Who somehow he helps Apocalypse travel through time and control all those alternate realities and time. I want to say time zones, time eras that he jumps in and out of.
Right. Okay. Then we have Doctor Strange and the Sorcerer Supremes number 6, which is another book that I actually enjoyed this week because it takes a different approach. Did you read this?
No, I did not.
Okay. It's a choose your own adventure comic. So basically what happened at the last issue, all Doctor Strange and all of the Supremes are captured by this monster. Doctor Strange now has to decide he's only got so much time, so which one of the Supremes does he save? Because the rest of them are likely to be killed. So it depends on which one you choose, which page you navigate to, and which one he saves and which way the story goes. And so what happens is, he saves one. It doesn't work out. They all get killed, but he has some sort of magical item that allows him to go back in time and start over again. Eventually, he gets it right and chooses the right one. They're able to subdue the monster and escape the prison. And now there's some sort of thing going on with the Avengers. I'm not really sure who this dude is, but now the Sorcerer Supremes have to deal with this guy. But yeah, the whole thing is just, okay, which Supreme does he save? He saves that one. They fight the monster, and they're either successful or unsuccessful. It's pretty good. Also, I like the art in this book.
See, I would save Diana Ross if it was me, but that's, I would just pick one. But anyway.
Diana Ross isn't in this book.
She's one of the Supremes.
The Sorcerer Supremes, not the music group. Oh gosh. And there's Diana Ross doesn't need saving. She's fine.
Okay, fine.
You and your silly dad jokes. Good Lord.
Oh, I had to Google it before I came back.
You couldn't even remember if she really was part of the Supremes.
I was getting the Temptations and the Supremes confused, so I had to Google it real quick while you were talking.
Yeah, the Supremes were the female version of the Temptations.
I understand. I was almost positive it was Diana Ross and the Supremes, but I wasn't sure. So there you go.
Good Lord.
Okay. The Unbelievable Gwenpool number 13.
This is a continuation of that D&D storyline, isn't it?
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I think I skimmed this.
Did you enjoy it? Probably not. Anyway, they're in Arcade's murder world, and she's got Deadpool there, and she's fighting Deadpool, and then she comes up. She realizes she's in a D&D world, so she actually throws the map out there and starts fighting. She starts sending the pieces around like she would on a D&D board or a chessboard, until finally Deadpool realizes that they're both in a comic book. And then they completely shatter the fourth wall, which is where this really gets stupid. And,
that's the thing, is the fourth wall breaks can be clever and funny, but you can't do it every panel. When you start doing it every panel, it loses its punch.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 pages of it.
Dude, it's that bad Deadpool writing we talk about.
Yes, and this is Gwenpool, but it's just
that's the same thing.
It's 6 pages of fourth wall jokes, which just anyway. At the end, she's trying to do right by all of the characters that she did wrong. All of her assistants that she did wrong when they were working for MODOK, and the only ones left is the boy that's a ghost, and I get this boy that's a ghost confused with the boy that's a ghost over in Silk. So maybe they're the same person for all I know, because that's how much I care about them. But there you
go. Okay.
As I said, man, I don't think there was many good books this week. And
no. And another one that was not good is this Man-Thing number 1. Now, when they announced this a few months ago, I was really excited because I like Man-Thing. Man-Thing's a cool character. 2, it's written by R.L. Stine. If you don't know who R.L. Stine is, he is a writer of horror. He's a horror genre writer, but specifically for children. He wrote the Goosebumps series, which when I was a kid was the big thing to read. They were typically real short, less than 200-page books written for, the 7 to 12 demographic, and they were horror stories. Now, if you read them now, they're really not scary, but it's horror for that age group. So I thought, okay, this is going to be a really cool title with R.L. Stine being able to do something here. Yeah, I was totally wrong.
Yeah, there you go.
We start with Man-Thing in a swamp fighting some sort of bug monster. But it turns out he's not actually fighting a bug monster. It's a movie. As we find out later in the comic book, Man-Thing has learned to speak English again and has decided to stop becoming the guardian of the nexus of all realities and pursue his dreams to become a Hollywood actor. And we get a scene with his agent, and no one wants to book him, and no one wants to pay him. We actually have a decent interlude middle bit where it retells his origins, which was really good. But the rest of it is Man-Thing trying to be a movie star and live the Hollywood life. And yeah, it just sucks, dude. To hell with this book.
Yeah, there you go. You gave it more sentences than I would have.
Yeah, there's a B story that's not half bad either. But, dude, there is so much you could do with Man-Thing, particularly when you're a horror genre writer. And you just squandered it. Whoever decided this was a good idea should slap R.L. Stine in the face. He needs to go back to sitting in his hot tub alone, smoking poorly rolled blunts or whatever it is he does.
Are you done?
Yeah, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm done now. What were you going to say?
Amazing Spider-Man 25 is coming out this week.
Yeah.
You were talking about, or next week, I should say. And you were talking about
B stories.
Yeah. B stories. There's about 10 of them because that was a $10 book. The thing's like 85 pages long.
Oh, gosh.
Yeah. So at some point, you're just like, oh, this story's bad and this story's bad. I didn't even read most of them.
Yeah, you just start skimming them.
But I kept thinking somewhere they got to do X before they get to Secret Empire. See, my buying comics and investing is an investment for us. See, you didn't know this, but it is. See, because I knew they had to do this with this character. So I keep flipping and I keep flipping. And the last backup story in that Amazing Spider-Man 25, I think it starts about page 65 or 66, something like that. I texted it to you last night.
Yeah.
You absolutely don't want to miss it. You can flip everything else because most of them are not readable. But you want to read that last story, that last B story.
Okay. So read the last B story in
Amazing Spider-Man 25, which comes out next week, which we'll be talking about next week.
Okay, cool. I'll be sure to do that. Mosaic number 6 was another book this week that wasn't half bad. So Mosaic leaves Spider-Man's body after having essentially brought the Brand Corporation building to the ground. And I think he killed his dad. I'm pretty sure he killed his own dad. So Brand Corporation sends in their hazmat team to recover all of the, quote, assets from like the basement of the building. Mosaic takes over one of their bodies, figures out what all this is, which is basically bodies of Inhumans and other things that Brand Corporation would find interesting and can harness to further their business interests. Pardon me. Using this knowledge, he foils their efforts. He also happens to run into Lockjaw and decides to take over Lockjaw's body, which then it becomes really funny because he just becomes the dog and he thinks like a dog. And so it's just it's this montage of him like teleporting places and going, no, this is not where I needed to be. And he shows up on Asgard and they're all freaked out. And then he shows up in the library of the universe and the guy in the library is like, are you back again? Or you've already eaten half our books. And then he shows up on the moon and he's trying to get to where he needs to go. And he can't figure out how. Finally, he shows up with Miss Marvel and she points him to New Attilan. And he gets to New Attilan, jumps out of the dog's body, and he's like, holy crap, I'm never doing this again. I'll never taking over a dog again. That was the worst thing ever. And that's when he runs into Johnny Storm, who can see him outside of his possessed. He can see him in his astral form or whatever. So he starts talking to Johnny Storm. Johnny takes him to the Medusa and the royal family. He figures out how to basically become corporeal where everyone can see him, which apparently just takes him concentrating on it. So, yeah. So this is how he got hooked up with the Inhumans, and it's how we see him working with the Inhumans later in IVX. And we also figure out this is how Medusa sabotaged a lot of Tony Stark's buildings and businesses back in Civil War, because he uses Mosaic to do it. It also gives you an idea of where this happens in the timeline. So it was a decent issue.
Is this the last issue of the series?
I don't think so, no.
Okay.
I think it's an ongoing.
I've read previews and understand. I'm reading what's coming out October, November, December, and I know it's not there. Mm-hmm. So at some point it's been canceled, whether it may be like
a 10-issue series or 8 issues or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Nova number 4. See, when you don't like a book, you talk about it for like 10 minutes. When I don't like a book, here's how brief it is. It's date night for Sam and Rich. Sam takes his girlfriend out. Some bums in the corner, and some kids are picking on him. So Sam gets in a fist fight with the bums, and the girl falls in love with him for it. Rich and Gamora go out. Rich and Gamora, they get jumped by some hoods. They beat them up. There you go. That's the book.
Yeah. And Rich and Gamora go out on a date. And
that's what I said. Rich and Gamora go out. And, yeah. Well, he keeps trying to tell her something wrong with him, and he keeps getting interrupted.
Yeah. I liked it better than you did, but I like that sort of stuff more than you do. So,
Feel free to talk about it.
But that's how I feel about this Power Man and Iron Fist book. Some dude that we've never heard of is trying to become the king of street magic, and Danny and Luke have to stop him because reasons. I don't know.
Because he's trying to take over Harlem, and they're trying to save Harlem.
Yeah,
so there you go.
Basically. Yeah, man, this book hadn't been good since like issue 3.
And this is, I know this is getting canceled, and you're getting 3 books in its place. You're going to get a Power Man Fist, an Iron Fist book, and a Defenders book, and they're all much better than what you're reading here.
Thank God.
Yes. That brings us to Squirrel Girl, which is another book that needs something. I don't know what. Squirrel Girl
okay.
number 18.
It wasn't the strongest showing, but it was all right.
It was okay. It was better than some of the stuff that came out this week.
Yeah.
She's got her new suit, and I
like the costume change.
Well, the costume change was given to her by Miss Morbick, and
right. Yeah. I'm just saying I like this new costume.
Well, it doesn't last.
No, of course not.
Miss Morbick turns out to be a villain, and then she attacks him, and then she deactivates the suits, and turns out Miss Morbick has been putting some type of chip in all the animals all over the world, and she can somehow telepathically control them through that chip. I don't know, man. I don't know.
I tell you what, man, some of the best stuff in the Squirrel Girl books are the little blurbs at the bottom of the page.
Those are fun.
Yeah, little editor notes at the bottom of pretty much every page.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's definitely the best thing about it.
Yeah, we also have Silver Surfer number 9, I believe.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Silver Surfer number 9. And this is a bad. Dawn and Norn are out looking for a planet to visit, and they come across one that's, well, what happens is Dawn needs to, for lack of a better term, she needs to use the restroom. She needs to take a dump. Mm-hmm. And when she wants to use the restroom, the people on the planet just freak out. And what we learn is the people on the planet are essentially living in the Matrix. They're living in a holographic reality. And there's just a few dozen, maybe a few hundred people who are actually alive that are keeping the images, the holographic images, keeping everyone else inside alive to Matrix. How about that? And by the time they realize this, Dawn has been converted into her Matrix form, and can't go back to being human again. But they manage to save her human body. And at that point, there's two Dawns. There's the Matrix Dawn and the real Dawn. And they decide to let the good people live and have their own way. And then the real Dawn and Norrin fly off happily ever after.
Okay.
There you go.
It's very Doctor Who.
Yes, it is. Yeah. That's
if you would just change the words from Norrin Rad and Dawn Greenwood to the Doctor and insert companion here, it'd be a Doctor Who story. But that's what Dan Slott's doing with this, and he'll admit it. And I think the book is served well by it. Giving it that treatment is what has made the book really good. And I'm super sad it's getting canceled.
Yeah, it is getting canceled. A lot of these are they're wrapping these stories up heading into Secret Empire. You're going to get Secret Empire, then you're going to come out with Marvel Legacy, and you're going to get new books and Heroes Resurrected in Marvel Legacy, and you're going to get Heroes Coming Back from the Dead in Marvel Legacy, and Marvel sales are going to jump through the roof because we're all going to buy 23 covers and everything's going to be great for Marvel.
Yeah. Are they going to resurrect Bruce Banner?
We're not talking about that.
Okay. All right. So moving on. Your answer. Yeah. So moving on to our the single Star Wars book this week, we have Dr. Aphra #5. Finally, this book has gotten to where I wanted to go, which is they have found the Citadel of Rohr, which is where the Order Respectu was hanging out. They found out that the Order Respectu is real, that the Citadel is real, that all of these things that her father has speculated about for ages, they're all real things, and they're finally getting to explore these ruins and what exactly happened between the Order Respectu and the Jedi. Until the Imperials show up and try to kill them. So you have a big shootout with a bunch of stormtroopers and Dr. Aphra and her dad. They are able to escape to what is essentially the facility's control room, where they're able to access the information held within the computer for the Citadel and find out specifically what happened with the Order Respectu and all of their knowledge. However, they happen to trigger the resurrection of the Eternal Rohr, who was the leader of the Order Respectu. And now it looks like there's going to be a big fight.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Good.
So it was good. It was too short. It was like 19 pages.
Huh. All right, by the way, who's the villain in Star Wars Episode 7? How do you pronounce his name?
The villain?
Yeah, the big evil guy.
Oh,
is it Snoke? Snoke. Okay.
Yeah.
Is that Mace Windu, or is it?
That's not Mace Windu. That is the silliest theory.
The other theory. Okay, hold on. The other theory I've read is that it's what's the villain from Episode 1?
Palpatine?
No.
Darth Maul?
Yes.
Oh, it's 100% not Darth Maul, because that gets resolved in Star Wars Rebels.
Actually, they said Star Wars Rebels is why it could be Darth Maul. And they've listed 6 reasons why it could be from Star Wars Rebels.
If you've seen the most recent season, it absolutely cannot be.
Dude, I'm just telling you what the article said. I don't know. You're the one with the encyclopedic knowledge.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, if you saw the third to last episode of the 3rd season of Star Wars Rebels, you know it cannot be Darth Maul.
Yeah, they're not worried about his death. Not the first one or the second one.
He gets sliced up by Obi-Wan Kenobi again, so...
It didn't stop him the first time.
Yeah, you watch the scene and you tell me. Nah, it ain't. Nah. My personal theory on who Snoke is he's an ancient Sith from beyond the unknown regions of space. When I say ancient Sith, I mean he's literally maybe tens of thousands of years old.
Okay.
Because they've done that story before in the Old Republic's games, and the Old Republic is a aspect of the Star Wars universe that they've yet to play with in the new canon, and there's a huge fan base there for that Old Republic stuff, and I think that's where they're bridging this. I also think that's the reason they're bringing Star Wars Rebels to a close, because they want to take what's the dude's name that does Star Wars Rebels? I forget his name, but they're transitioning him to a new show, and I think it's going to be an Old Republic show.
Okay.
That's what I think. I don't know.
There you go.
If it's Darth Maul, I'll be upset because that just let Darth Maul go. I mean, he went out really good against Obi-Wan Kenobi in that issue of Rebels, or in that episode of Rebels.
Dude, how many people you think saw the episode of Rebels?
Lots of people. That's a really popular show.
And how many people saw episode 1?
Lots.
Okay.
The
lots in episode 1 is a lot more than the show.
Yeah, but it doesn't rule out the show. The show's still canon.
Okay.
But there's some, and if you read the Chuck Wendig books that came out recently that bridge the gap between Return of the Jedi and present day, there's some other clues about who Snoke may be.
Okay. What's your favorite book this week?
Do what?
What's your favorite comic this week?
Oh, dude, that's I don't know. Might have been that Dr. Aphra book because it was one of the few that was any good.
For me, it was either Captain America or IVX number 6, and it's obviously IVX number 6.
Yeah, IVX was good too. I'll call IVX my runner-up because I did enjoy that Aphra book. Yeah.
In the dump this week, we actually have Marvel. Do you know how long I've been screaming for Marvel 2-in-1 books?
You've been, when I saw them in the dump, I thought, oh my goodness, Pat's gonna be so happy because you've been wanting these 2-in-1s forever.
And there's a Marvel team up in there.
Mm-hmm.
Just one issue of a Marvel team up, but it's there. And I was looking today. Those things are all there. They've all been done in Masterworks, which means it's not that hard to digitize them.
No, probably not. And so, if they're doing them now, it means you're probably going to see more of them.
I'm hoping. I can only hope.
Yeah, absolutely. So, which one of those Marvel 2-in-1s should we really read? The ones that are there.
You know, those aren't some of the best ones. Some of the best ones were written by Claremont.
Mm-hmm.
See, some of these are written by John Buscema, Marv Wolfman. That was the thing about these Marvel 2-in-1s and the Marvel team up, is they had great writers. Dude, Chris Claremont had like a 4-year run on Marvel team up, and had Dave Cockrum with him and Lin Wynn with him, and and you look at some of the writers and artists on this. I think we were talking about Frank Miller in our previous show, which you can listen to. Frank Miller did a couple of issues of Marvel team up. I mean, every time they had a new writer or a new artist, they'd roll them out in these issues. There's a issue of 2-in-1 with Jack Kirby that Jack Kirby did, man. Come on. Seriously? It's good stuff.
Yeah, they'll get to it.
I'm hoping. I can only hope.
So that's your dump, and also going to serve as your classic read this week because that stuff's worth reading.
To answer the question, the one I really want to read is either 50 or 51, and it's got The Thing, Nick Fury, Captain America, and a couple other people in their monthly poker game. And a villain makes and understand I haven't read this in 30 years, so I'm doing it from memory. A villain accidentally interrupts their monthly poker game. And it's just hilarious.
That's funny.
Dude, it's great. That's the one I really want to read that issue.
Okay, cool. That's pretty much going to do it for this week. Please go listen to What's Next, our other podcast where we tell you about all the hidden gems in Marvel Unlimited. We actually have a new episode up since we hadn't done that in a while. So we are going to have a new one up probably this weekend. If you want to get in touch with us, you can email us at 6monthsbehind@gmail.com. That's the number 6monthsbehind@gmail.com.
The website is www.6monthsbehind.com.
And Pat, before we go, as always, do you have any wisdom for us?
This one is specifically for you and my daughter, which is old people poke you and my daughter at weddings and say you're next. So you should start poking them at funerals and saying the same thing.
I'll have to do that next time I go to a funeral.
Yeah, there you go.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
Peace.